Awesome. Thank you, everybody, so far. I want to welcome Jim to talk about the Tahoe Rim Trail. So we're going to go to another place, a little bit different here. Um, Let me get this going for you, then we'll get the timer started. We'll make sure the clicker works.
The applause.
It's working for me. I don't know. Okay, awesome. Jim, thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming out this evening. I'm glad to be involved in this adventure speed dating we've got going here. But what I'm here to do is talk about the Tahoe Rim Trail. It's a great trail. The reason I picked it for tonight is it is especially well suited for people to take their first through hike. The trail, or TRT as a lot of people call it, has plenty of adventure and scenery packed into a 170-mile package set around one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. The lake itself is split between California and Nevada, pretty much right down the middle. Largest alpine lake in North America, and amazing to me, it never freezes. The trail itself travels through beautiful scenery, both the Carson and Sierra Nevada mountain ranges. If you ever heard of the John Muir Trail, which is famous for its scenery, that's also in the same Sierra Nevada range. Logistics for this trail are great, again, for a first timer. You're about an hour from the Reno airport. Your starting point is also your finishing point. Very good resupplies. The trail's very nice, and a lot of reasons you can do it in a couple weeks. The weather's another reason. John Muir called the Sierras the gentle wilderness. And a lot of that's because the weather is pleasant through the summer. Rain is rare. This is actually the cloudiest moment of my hike. There's plenty of printed guides available, a lot of information about the trail. There's a far out app as well. The trail itself is easy to follow, plenty of signage. In fact, sometimes there's more than enough signage. But while suited to first timers, it's not quite as simple as just keeping the lake to your right. It is the red route here. One thing you'll notice, you leave South Lake Tahoe, you actually leave the area of the lake for about 3 days. So there is some different things to see while you're out there. I hiked the trail in early September, over 10 days total. There were no crowds, no bugs, no dealing with snow, consistent good weather. It was pretty easy. There's a regularly scheduled shuttle from the Reno airport, had me in Tahoe City in an hour. This is right next door to an outfitter that still sells stove fuel. You're a half a mile from the trailhead. This place even holds clothes for you. So if you want some clean clothes when you're done, they'll be waiting for you. When you start down the trail, you're obviously getting some lake views, but you also get some mountain views as you climb up. The lake's about 6,200 feet. You climb up about 1,000 feet or so, stay there for a while, so you get views of both the lake and the nearby mountains. Trail itself is well built, but it is dry and dusty. I don't typically show off my feet, but that is 2 days worth of dust. It went through my shoes and through my socks. I do not hike barefoot. As you get up higher, there's less and less shade. You're going to want to bring some sunscreen with you, but the lack of cover does allow for some nice views of the lake. Different than a lot of trails, they actually try to concentrate the impact. They want you to stay close to the trail, and because of that, campsites are very easy to find. I did bring a bear canister. That's the barricade right there. I brought that for a few reasons. Probably the main one is there's a lot of bears there, and nothing good happens when you allow bears to get to your food. Also, since 2024, bear canisters are actually required on this trail. And regardless, even if there's no bears around, there's plenty of critters happy to eat your unprotected food. So you want to keep it protected in a bear canister. Once you get going, This is about 35 miles in. You're at Relay Peak. This is 10,330 feet. This is the highest point on the trail. So you don't have the more extreme elevations like you get on the John Muir Trail. You're looking down the east side to Carson Range in Nevada here. It is the drier side of the trail, but there is water in several spots. This is Galena Falls. There's some hydrants, but you do need to be prepared to hike up to 15 miles between water stops. You have to remember, even though you can see the lake, you're rarely close enough to just dip a cup in it. Going down the east side, quite often you're up on a high ridge. This is looking down at the lake. That's Marlette Lake in the foreground. This is what's known as Big View. And again, looking away from the lake, this is the mountains in Nevada. Some pretty nice scenery that way as well. Took me about 4.5 days of hiking, a little over 80 miles in. You can take a side trail, goes right to a bus stop. You can take a bus right down to South Lake Tahoe. This is a great town to resupply or take a zero if you want. Hotels range from very expensive to very basic. There's outfitters, there's grocery, and everything is within walking distance of that bus stop. As you can see, it is a ski town. And as you're hiking, this is leaving, you do go by several ski resorts as well. But once you're heading south out of South Lake Tahoe, you get into some higher meadows. There's a lot more moisture. Things change a little bit. This was my highest camp in Frio Meadow. That's at 9,200 feet. It was warm during the day, but when you're up this high, it does get fairly cold at night. I actually had my water freeze overnight there. And as you see, I was there during the drought, but still up high in September, there was still some snow left over. But as you're hiking, gorgeous lakes through this area, one after another. Eventually, you do meet up with the Pacific Crest Trail, start heading back north, and you share with that trail for 50 miles. A lot of people worry about creek crossings. There's very little to deal with here. This is the worst creek crossing, and it was not a big deal. The only reason there was this much water going is because it's coming out of Echo Lake, which is actually not a natural lake. It's set up for hydropower. There is a store there. You can do another resupply as long as you get there before Labor Day. But the lake is also the entryway into the Desolation Wilderness. You can see here, permit required. This is going to be the only permit you need to get to do the entire trail. And it is not a difficult permit to get if you are a thru hiker. There is no quota. You just apply for it. It's, I believe, $10. You will get a permit to hike in there. The other thing you'll want to notice, no wood fires. There's no fires anywhere within the Tahoe Basin. But even if you bring a portable stove, you do need a California campfire permit. However, this is even easier. You go online, you answer a few questions that you should know the answers to, and you can print out your permit, and it's free. Going into Desolation Wilderness, this is the most rugged section of the trail. But it is just a stark, gorgeous area. This is Lake Aloha. What has happened is glaciers basically scraped off all the topsoil, and it has never come back. So just a really different looking area. As you continue on the trail, though, the vegetation does start to return. You continue to have numerous lakes. Climbing out of the Desolation Wilderness, you get up on a pass. Dick's Pass is about 9,400 feet. That's looking one way. This is looking the other way. That's down. The first lake is Dick's Lake. Just a gorgeous place. This is like right next to my campsite, that view. Just a really neat place. And as you're done with that, the parade of gorgeous lakes just continues as you go. As you keep going, eventually you see the big lake again in the distance. And as you continue north, leave Desolation Wilderness, you get into Granite Sheaf Wilderness near Twin Peaks. And this is where the Pacific Crest Trail continues north. You're going to hang a right, start a downhill route, getting a little bit of a fall color there. That's early September. But you're heading back to Tahoe City. You're still getting some great mountain views. Eventually, the trail becomes a little more civilized, eventually paved. And 4.5 miles for me, after leaving South Lake Tahoe, I'm right back where I started. Uh, this is just a really great trail. It's a great challenge, but it's doable. Beautiful scenery. The logistics are for a through hike are very simple. Less aggravation than about any long hike I've ever been on. And just a good trail to start if you were thinking about doing a through hike. And if I've got a few seconds left, you can read that quote. There you go. I was under 10 minutes.